Hello, happy beaters. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. How are you doing this fine day? I am pretty excited to get my loom back out. Granted, I still have a few of these looms from last time that I got to put the ends on. So I might be putting ends on after this so that I can wear these bracelets because they are so fabulous. But I do want to making something new today. How are you doing? Hello, Gail. Welcome. Good to see you on here. Oh, I'm like I feel like I'm missing things, but that's how it rolls here, right? Right now, that's kind of how I roll. Always one thing I'm missing. Hi, Christine. Getting all ready to go on your road trip, I bet. You're going to be off and running really soon. That's going to be awesome. Hello, Linda. How cool. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Rosalinda. Good to see you too on here. Ooh, okay, I thought I could just gracefully put that tray down, but apparently I had to crash it down. Hi, Helena, welcome. Good to see you on. I am going to play, let's see, this one you can kind of see better. I don't have both sides of the class, but I have this one from the last time, our Pixie Loom. We did so many different color combinations with that. I still have to put the ends on these ones. I never put the ends on. So we might just use these as samples to put ends on. So true, Christine. Hey, you know, it's good background for while you're doing that, huh? So I thought it'd be really fun to kind of bring this back and kind of change it up. I decided I'm not just going to stick with the 6mm, but also throw in some 3s and 4s and some seed beads in it. I grabbed a whole bunch of beads, but I did not do well at deciding what colors. Of course, they're still all in my color theme, so they'll all go good together. I am going, my poor copy is all totally wrinkled, but we do have, I'm going to be using the Pixie Jewel Loom Bracelet instructions that we did for these ones that I just showed. The JPEGs are available on our Facebook page and in our Just Beat It Happy Beaters group. The PDF is on this. We did this last June of 2021. Oh, I hope I put 2021 on there. Hello, Sandra. Welcome. Happy Saturday. And I think it's about time. I don't know who let's see. There's our Facebook group. I see most of you are ones that I know are in the Facebook group, but here you go. If you want to get that PDF, it is under the files on our Just Beat It Happy Beaters group. And you do have to ask to join if you're not part of it yet. I am going to be using my jewel loom today. You need a needle. Being that we're only doing this really, it's a thick band, but it's relatively thin. I mean, I can get my needle across that no problem. I'm just using a regular beading needle, but you can use a big eye needle. You can use a loom needle, whichever you prefer. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us today. And then the only other things, and for the is that I will need paracrimpers because I'm going to be kind of, you know, funny thing is we did our sliders last week, you know, for these earrings and for our braided bliss, but our jewel loom, we did the same thing. We we use the sliders to end it, and I think it's a great little ending, so I am going to use that. This is the 16 millimeter one, right? No, I'm sorry, the 20 millimeter. It's the 20 millimeter. So it's the larger one, which is what I used for my earrings after all, but this bracelet, it's this, the Braided Bliss, I used the smaller one, the 16. And I'm going to use crimps on it, even though I'm using this cord because it works. You can also knot it. You can knot it around a bead, and you can end your loom, you know, whichever way you prefer. And then I'm going to use Amiet, which is a, it's from Toho, and I want to say, yeah, the Amiet is a polyester cord. You can also use S-Lon or C-Lon, which is a nylon cord. It is just like the standard size one. Does it have it on here? I don't know. I can't see it on here. But yeah, the Amiet is the Toho one, and I love it, love it, love it. So we're going to use that. I do like the S-Lon and the C-Lon also, and those work well. I don't remember what the measurement is, the number is for the standard, but it is the standard size, not the additional. There's a heavy and a micro and all that. Hi, Paula. Welcome. And then I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to use Wildfire, because my original ones, I did Wildfire. I may be using my 1G. So we're going to see once I get the colors on what I use. The only other tools I kind of need is a pair of scissors, which, oh, is that one of the things that I forgot? I thought I grabbed a pair of scissors. Where's the scissors? Did I forget the scissors? I did forget the scissors. I thought I had them. I thought I had it in my hand. And apparently I forgot to grab. So hold on. Be right back. Alright, that wasn't that far of a walk, but you know. Still had to get up. So I have my scissors, and then for the endings, because you're going to need a pair of chain nose pliers to be able to close up the end, and then use jump rings to attach your favorite clasp. Oh yes, Rosalinda, for sure. You could totally use 0.5 hemp. In fact, even the 0.5 leather is kind of nice with this. Hi, Eugenia. I mean, there's so many things you can actually use for looming. I was just referring to the things that are comparable to what I'm using today. But yeah, anything. Yeah, this doesn't have a measurement. But it's a little thinner than a 0.5, but it's kind of in that realm. But yeah, for sure. I mean, you can even, if you wanted to do soft flex on it, or do medium soft flex on it, and that would work also. So if you're like, I don't have, it might be, it would be a teeny bit, not necessarily stiffer, but wiry. Like, it's stiffer, but not in a bad way. Just more that, like, this flops, and it probably will hold its shape. Kind of how this does. Like, when I put it, it just kind of curves a little bit. And so it's probably going to kind of be more like that if you did it. But that would be a really fun material to use, especially because there's so many cool colors. Sometimes you have to... you know, go with the thing that has the right color, right? Whatever material that has the right color that you want to use. All right, so let's flip this around and get started, right? Ooh. I gotta like, oh, so you see this big old mess of stuff. Big old mess of stuff. So we're gonna like weed that down a little bit and try to figure out what is, okay. Trying to see what's in the frame here. Trying to not knock down all the things that I put on my, because you remember last with the this bead for the daisy chain, I spilt it all over. Have it securely taped. I cleaned it all up. I have it back in my bag, and it's taped up. But I have these other bags that are not taped up, so I gotta be very, very, very careful and not have a repeat of last time, huh? Oh, I did that and I didn't move this closer. Let's do this a different way. Whoosh. All right. So, in the process of doing this, I toyed with the idea of actually just using the same beads or mostly the same beads and using our handy dandy little graph right here so that I can kind of play around with color and change my do a graph. But since I couldn't decide on what beads I actually wanted to use, we're gonna willy-nilly it and see if we can come up with a really cool design with the beads that I pick out here. I am going to set it up just like this though. I am not going to change the amount of warps. I'm going to leave it with the 4 warps, and I'm going to make sure that there is 4 visible grooves in between each one, that each one's on the 5th one. So I'm going to set it up just like the instructions to keep it similar in width. To do that, there is this loom. If you haven't used one of these before, this little bent wire, sometimes these are bent too inward and it's really hard to get this inside your loom. So you may want to open it up a little bit. You can kind of see it's not some, I really opened up this one. Having one that's a little bit more open sometimes helps make it go in and out. I know. I think it'd be really fun, Rosalind, to use the soft legs. I have seen some pieces done in it, and I really liked the pieces, but I haven't done it myself. So I might have to be, we might be making lots of loom. Now that I'm going to have this out, I'm going to want to be looming like crazy. All right, so we're going to get that little hook inside. So the back is where this notch is, and this goes through one end, and then you want to bend it. So I'm going to bend it to the table, but usually I bend it to my body because it's easier to press it up against my body. But we want to make sure that each end of this is inside and it kind of curves like that, right? And then this is the back side, and this is the front side. I haven't quite decided on all of what beads to use in this, but here's an idea of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using some teals and greens and purples and maybe fuchsias. Which means that I think I am going to, I have a great, like I could do this dusty purple, it would work really well. I could do this, let's see, I don't know, they don't have the names on it, This one right here is a great green, and this is a nice, this is color number 7, and this one's color number 11, and I think either one of these would be good, but I kind of am in the mood for this, which is really kind of funny because it's not usually my go-to. Usually my go-to is one of these two. But this one's making me happy, so I think I'm going to do this one. It's more of a rose, dusty rose, but like a dark dusty rose, and it's number 17. I'm excited too, huh? Yeah. Oh, I might have to come up. I feel like now I'm not really in my bead bunker since we're not like quarantined like that. So I got to come up with another way of, you know, another little thing to do. But yeah, I want to try to get some beading going in between these Saturdays. I really could use some. It's always nice to have, I know, I probably am going to put almost all of those in because I don't know, there might be a couple that I kind of say, but most of them I think are going to go in. I feel like I'm going to make a very eclectic piece, but the colors look so pretty together that I think it'll be okay. So we are going to pull off, so I did use 2 yards, but on occasion 2 yards was just a teeny bit short for people when they were attaching it on. It's kind of really like how much you use to attach it. It kind of adjusted. So you may want like 2.5 just to kind of give yourself 2.5 yards. So, or 7 feet, maybe 7.5 feet, something like that might be a little bit better, just so that you have plenty of cord to attach it with. Get my scissors out and cut that using my Amtara scissors today. I like these because they're pretty sharp. I like my Zurons too. You know, scissors are great. I am going to take one end of my amulette cord. Well, that's exciting that this is your first time. I hope you have fun doing it. You, like Rosalinda says, it will be very fun and relaxing. The first time, sometimes setting up is kind of like a little nerve-wracking, and getting started is a little nerve-wracking, but once you get going, it's just like very therapeutic. I am using 6mm beads. You could probably use 5 for sure. I have a variety because I have a 6mm, a 4mm. I have some 3mm. I have size 6 seed beads. Okay, I'm only picking up the teals right now. And I have size 8 seed beads. So I have 5 different sizes that I'm going to use with mine. I'm with you, Paula. I love to loom. I used to loom more, but that I never finished things. And once I've discovered the slide clasp, now I'm more often will finish it. I have a few that I haven't, but most of the time. Kathy, right now I am using Amiot. It is it's 100% polyester. It comes in a lot of different colors, and it is from Toho. It is a wonderful, I like the way this one feels. It's a little different than the nylon of the Aslan and the Ceylon, but those work really well too in its place. But anything like on the 0.5 millimeter. These are a little thinner than 0.5, but anything 0.5 or a little thinner would be a really good for this kind of basic thing. You don't want a thin beading thread. Oh, but you have the baby jewel loom. I accidentally reordered looms and accidentally ordered baby jewel looms. So now I have a baby jewel loom and I'm like, okay, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do, right? With that. So that might be another thing that I get on here with is playing with that. But that's really cool that you have one. Oh, where did my end go? I lost my thread. I got all excited about showing all the things and I lost my cord. Okay, so I'm just going to tie. Now, Jules, there is tons of fantastic tutorials about the jewel loom. So if you get into this, you know, you should look them up. Juliana makes from Jewel that created this. Her name's on there, right there. She does amazing projects with them. She also has a lot of different kinds of looms too. So you should, so once you get started, if you're new to this, you should check out what she does. This is just how I do it, which is very similar to what she does. Like, probably almost exact. I just tied a little knot, I don't care, like a little square knot to that. I will cut that off later and it'll come off pretty easily. I didn't have much of a tail. You don't need much of a tail. Yes, she is. I love watching her stuff and I've seen her on so many different things. It's just wonderful. Good afternoon, Yolanda. Oh yeah, well, it's a really fun rings and earrings. Okay, that'll be fun to do. I kind of was thinking of a pendant, so that is right up on that same thing. Oh, on Thursdays. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that it was every Thursday. Okay, so from the back, I'm going to take this over into one of the grooves, kind of on the back it's on the right side, but when I flip it over, it's going to be on the left side. And I just want to keep that in one of these grooves. Now it's going across the loom. This is the top side where you can see the words jewel loom. You know you have it right. And then we're going to just try to get it about the same one on and you can totally count them. Okay, I have it on I'm going to put it on, go it a little bit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm on the 12th one. So I'm going to go over here and get it on the 12th one. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now I'm on the 12. Go to the back. Wrap it around. I like to wrap it like one full around just because when I don't, I sometimes lose the tension. I'm keeping it fairly taut, but it's like, you know, still movable. And then I'm going to come back from the back. Like, I'm not going all the way across the back. I'm going to just wrap around this little peg. And then I'm going to come up and I want 4. Oh, that's 3. I want to make sure that they're, ooh, let's move the let's knock the camera over. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 visible grooves. Oh, how fun with wire. I love it. Ah, that would be a lot of fun to do. I haven't played with mine yet because I was like, oh, well, that's not what I meant to order. But I kind of got excited about it. But I figured since before I start something new that I should do something again with this one since we've been working on this one, right? Now I'm making it 4 on it here. I wrap it around your peg. You could just wrap it around once, you know, but I like to go a full around so it's almost like twice, and then come back over the groove, over towards the grooves, and make sure you have 4 visible grooves. Come over here. Wrap it around. Camera doesn't know what to focus on because this is so big, but it will get better when we don't have to see the whole piece. There we go. 4 visible grooves there. This is my last one. 4 visible grooves on this side. So my goal is to get 4 warps, which means there's 3 slots for my beads. And that's all as far as I need it to be. I don't need any more, but you can of course keep going if you want it a little bit wider. But that is, I'm gonna just do the same count that I had on our previous bracelet that we did. And then I'm gonna wrap it around. And then I usually just take these 2 tails and tie them together, because I find that's easy enough to do to secure it. If I did one more so that I can add 4 across, and that means I had 5 of these, I'd be on this side here, and then I would have to tie it to one of these, or try to tie it around here. But that works out really nice when the tails look right there. I have extra there because I made mine a little extra long by accident. And now, so that for the most part, it's pretty good, but they're kind of loosey. They're a little too loose for weaving. So that's when we go and take out, we don't want to bead. We don't want to do any of the loom work with this metal in there. We want to actually take this out. So I'm going to bend it just slightly so that I can pop that one end out, and I pop out that. And now this is going to have a much tighter fit to it. And that's going to be nice and ready to do our loom. So I like to start from the bottom and work my way up. In this, well, I say bottom, but you wouldn't go all the way to the bottom. You're going to be kind of like maybe 2 inches up from the bottom. And that's where we're going to start our weft. So this is our warp. All the ones that go vertically like this is our warp. That's what's going to keep, there's one in between one on the outsides, and then in between each of the beads to help keep your beads in place. Now, well, I'm going to get creative, because I do know I'm going to have those greens, and I do know I'm going to have those fuchsias, even though this is more of a dusty. I just realized my beads are more of a fuchsia. I don't care. It's going to go. I'm thinking about doing the actual green instead of, but I might do, I mean, I could do the gray. There is a pink in Fireline, but I don't have that, and it's a lighter pink. I don't have that one with me today, so that's not an option. You know when you're like been looking for something or wondered where something went? I didn't realize it went into this crazy bag. Okay, no wonder I couldn't find it. I would never have looked with that. I'm gonna have to move that later. But I might actually do the purple so that I could pull the purple. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So Wildfire is what we used in our original, which is really good for all the, being that all of this is like bigger beads, and there's longer spaces, and it's a very durable material, and there are a lot of color. There's quite a few colors. You can also use Fireline if you have Fireline. Sometimes if you use a different color, you're gonna see it a little bit. Ooh, uh-oh. I just noticed that this one moved, so let's see if I can get that back. Yep. So let's see what happened here. There we go. Yeah. You can use Fireline, like like I usually use 6-pound Fireline if I'm using that, and I'm using the 0.006 Wildfire, but I'm gonna use my purple 1G thread for this because I am mixing my beads up. I think this will be kind of fun and help keep it flexible with the different size beads. So I'm just gonna cut about 2 yards. If I have, I may have to add more to it, but that's okay. I'm gonna do 2 yards of thread. So you're just gonna choose whatever beading thread that you like. So you can, I'm going to put the needle on one end. And then on the other end, you could do a couple things to get started. You can either just tape it down onto your loom, or you know, and then you'll have your tail to weave in later. Or what I'm going to do is actually tie it onto my left warp. And I'm just tying it. I'm going to leave about an 8 to 12 inch tail, and I'm just going to tie it with a little square knot, maybe, if my fingers will behave. Should probably have waited to do my needle, because now I'm like, where's my needle? Am I going to poke myself? Yeah, probably, because that would be something that Joyce does. Or get it caught. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Let's get another little knot, and that's just kind of temporary holding it in place. If I only did the one, this will make it a little bit more so. It's you can use a bead stopper also, just so that it doesn't move. You don't, like, it doesn't move, but this will give me a little bit to weave in later, and I can just kind of pop that knot into the first bead that I add. I'm going to cut this extra cord because I don't need that, and that's going to get in the way and bother me. All right, so I have my warp. I have my weft thread ready to go. I have it on the left side, even though I'm right-handed. I'm going to get some of my beads on here so that I could start choosing some beads, right? So let's start out with some of my favorites. That I for sure want to use. I'm not going to pour the whole strand out. I'm just going to try to pour a little bit off of it, and then I'll grab more when I need more. That way my little tiny tray here is not going to be overrun by beads. What? Of course it's going to be overrun with beads. That's what I do with my life. I get overrun with beads, but it's such a fun thing. Love this really bright turquoise. It is like a matte frosted finish on it, I think, or let's see, which one's this one? Do I have a name on it? Yeah. It is saturated teal. That's a simple name for it. Does not do it justice. It really doesn't. Because it is a teal, but I feel like it's a little more, it's like a dark turquoise to me. But it is on the greener side, so I could see how teal got in its name. But it kind of has like because it's the saturated color line, it has, the coating is on the outside, but it's kind of almost matte versus, or semi-matte versus shiny. But I do like to mix, so I have some metallics in here. I'm going to kind of keep my sizes in the same area just so that it might make it easier for me to choose things. I don't know. It's a random thought. It might work or it might not. We are going to see. Sometimes you got to experiment together, right? Get this in here. I'm going to move that over just a little bit. Get more of these out. So what colors do you think you want to use? I want to hear what color you're thinking about making or you are making right now. Maybe you're doing a different project. That's cool too. Maybe you're catching the replay. So hello, if you're catching the replay, thank you. Or maybe you're watching it live right now with me and you're planning on actually making it later, because I know sometimes that's what I do, is I catch the live and then I go back and I rewatch it so that I can make it. But I like to watch the live. You know, to learn about it and stuff. But what colors are you thinking? I have another set that I picked because it makes me think of honey. I have all these like really honey-licious colors, and I'm thinking I want to make one that looks like honey, and maybe use like some of the tiara casts, the bees and the honeycombs that they have, and like attach them somehow. Colors of the oceans are always good. Yeah, some of these colors are so beautiful. I love it. That is one of my favorite colors. It is so great. I mean, purple's my favorite, but like, it's this is like part of my favorite, one of my favorite colors because it goes with purple so well, you know? How can you not like it if it goes with your color so well? Did add a teeny bit of blue in there too. Got some mauve colors. Got a lot more 4s than I realized. I didn't realize I could have that many 4s. I thought I was picking up a lot of 3s, but it looks like oh, I got I just pulled, there's another 3. Okay, so I have 3 3s, which I thought I had like 4 or 5, but apparently I picked up more of the 4s. I still have some 6s to put on here. I put a size 6 out already, but I also need to get some of these 6 millimeters. Do I want to? No. I also thought I grabbed more 6 millimeters. I'm not seeing the other color that I thought I picked. Maybe I dropped it on my way. I did see these stones, so this is not a fire polish, but I'm thinking I might put this stone in from a large fuchsia color. Oh, you can't see that one. That one's off camera right here. Okay, I saw those, so I thought, oh, that might be kind of fun. I have this bronze seed bead that I'm going to put in just in case if I want to go bronze. And I have a purple. I don't have as many 6s. I only have 3 choices of size 6 seed beads, but I think that'll be okay. I have this gorgeous purple. I think they're calling it Frosted Metallic Polaris. The color number is 567F, and it's a Toho, and it is like a matte metallic purple. I poured too much, but that's okay. I have this, you know how I thought I didn't, I knew I had more of the color that I used last week. I just didn't realize I had a big bag of it. So I definitely have to add some of those because that's one of my favorite colors, because it has that teal and it has the purple. Woo, woo. Let's add some of this one. So my mat is, this little tray is smaller than what I'm used to. So I'm getting a little crowded, but I think it'll be okay. We're gonna work around that and it's gonna be good. We're gonna add this pink. Okay, I think we have enough here. I think this color palette is scrumptious and it's going to make something really pretty. Woohoo! So now I'm ready to go. So there is ways to play with these different sizes in your piece. The most easiest and way for me to do it is to try to keep, if I'm using, not worrying, is making sure that I'm not changing the warp here. So whatever, it always has to fit inside these warps. So the warps are actually geared for my biggest one, which is my 6s, my 6 millimeter. So if I'm using the 3 millimeter, I just use 2 of them in that spot. Now 4 millimeter, I can't use 2, it would mess that up. But if I combine this with a seed bead, a size 8 seed bead, that would work really well. So that's what I'm going to do there. And then if I wanted to do a big seed bead, I would need like two. I could do 2 of these size 6 seed beads. I could do a 6 and a 6 and a 3 millimeter in that spot. So I'm just going to try to keep like whatever size. I'm going to try to keep it so that it doesn't change the width of the space between the warp threads. So then 3 size 8s seed beads would work. Oh yeah. I was lucky. I'm lucky because most of the time when I cut, they just kind of go way more nilly-willy than that. Oh, oranges and yellow, Sandra, that sounds beautiful. And I love that orange ambient. That is a really beautiful orange. Okay, so I'm going to just start out. And what I'm going to do is start out with, let's see. What am I going to start out with? I thought I was going to start out with 6 millimeters, and I thought I was going to kind of use 2 of the colors together, but I didn't pull. I must have dropped them somewhere because I could have sworn I had more color choices in my 6 millimeters. I wanted more color choices in my 6 millimeters. Oh, I might, you know what, I have this leftover partial of blue, so I'm going to add that in here. Oh, guess what? We have a favorite color of teal or turquoise or whatever color this is. I feel like what I'm wearing is actually teal today, and so when I'm looking at these that seem more turquoise, I'm like, huh? But they are, yeah. Okay, so there. Now I have more colors. Now I have something. I thought I had a light purple, though. That's the thing. But, you know, whatever. That works. Okay. You didn't see the ones I added. I added those 2 colors here. This one and this one. These 2. Of course you'll catch up. You'll get it set up. If anybody has a question about the setup, just ask. Sometimes it's just a matter of, like, you know, it being fumbly that moment, and it'll get on there. It took me a moment to figure out my beads. I still gotta choose my beads. Okay. Now. Woo! Oh no! Oh no! It's a wild. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to add this blue 6. I saw this blue 6, and I'm going to add that there. Size 6 seed beads, so I'm going to add that also. All right, let's start out with a row of, I'm going to start out with a row of size 8 seed beads and 4 millimeter, because I have lots of 4 millimeters to choose from and lots of size 8s. And so I have three gaps. So I'm going to, remember we discovered that one seed bead and one size 8 and one 4 millimeter is about the right length. So we are going to do that 3 times, and I'm going to actually do the same. Nope, nope. We're gonna just go with the first ones that you want to do, Joyce. Just go with the first ones you want to do. You can add them later also. Yes, I talk to myself and my beads. All right. So I added a size 8, a 4mm, size 8, a 4mm, size 8, a 4mm. I'm going to take this momentarily. I'm going to use my left hand so that I can get it under from left to right, under my warp. I'm going and transfer it to my right hand. I still have them on my needle because I find it works great to have it on your needle. I put my finger underneath. And I'm making sure that there's an 8 and a 4 in between each of the warp threads. I'm going to pull it once I have that. This first couple of them are going to be tricky, but then once we get a couple of these on, these rows on, everything will go so smooth. And then I'm going to take, so that makes everybody's going underneath. Now I'm going to take my needle and go from right to left through all of the beads, making sure I'm going on top of the warp thread. So that's the 4mm, the 8, go over the warp, the 4mm, the 8, go over the warp, 4mm, the 8, go over the last warp. Hold on to that and pull. At first, this is a lot of thread. We're going to get my tail, get this back to where I want it, pull it tight, and voila, I got my first row. My first row is approximately 4 inches, about 3 or 4 inches from the end. You can go a little closer to the end if you want, but you know, that's about right. Now I'm going to do my next row. I'm going to do the same, I'm going to do a little color blocking, I think. So I'm going to do the same colors, but or the same beads, but in reverse. So I'm going to put the fire polish on first. And that do the fire polish size 8, fire polish size 8, and fire polish. So I started with the fire polish size 8, fire polish size 8, fire polish size 8. And I'm going to bring this under. And look at that cool little results. And then it's going, I put my finger, I'm going left to right underneath, put my finger behind it to keep it, to hold on to it, to keep it from moving, making sure that the warp is in between each set of 2 beads. Pull. Whoop. Come on. Oh, whoops, I lost that. I lost it because I let go. Don't let go, don't let go. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go back through with my needle from right to left, and I'm going to go through each of these beads, starting with the 8, and then the fire polish, going over the warp. You always want to make sure you're going over the warp, you're not going through it, and you're not going behind it. One way you can tell that you have it right is that you can see the needle going over those warps, you'll get that hint of silver from your needle. So that will be helpful. The other thing that it help, you know, it shows is if you move, you can move it. Like if you can move it like this, then you know you didn't stick your needle into the cord. And then pull. And I got my first two. That's kind of a cool little design there. If I had enough beads, I'd almost want to do the whole thing like that because that's really pretty. But I'm going to use this again somewhere up there. So I'm going to be fine. You know what? We're going to do one more row. I want one more row. So there's 50 on a strand of these. So I know that 6, I could do this 5 times, or I could do it actually like 7 times in here. No, I'm going to do 9 now. So what would that be? 5 times. Forgot what I was doing. I got all excited about, like, do I have enough? But I'm only going to do probably like 3 of these maybe, or 4 of these, but sometimes I drop it and then I gotta get it back up. And once I get my finger underneath it, it works just fine. I find that I drop it the most when I actually pull all of the slack out. If I leave a little bit of slack, I'm less likely to drop it. So I gotta remind myself to not pull it all the way. And then all I have to do is when I have my finger through this loop, and I could just kind of pull that slack and get back in track there. There we go. I'm loving how that is looking. Okay, so next thing that I want to do, I think, is to let's add, yeah, no, maybe not, too blendy. I think I want to do it with the blue. Okay, I'm going to take 3 blues of 6mm, and I'm going to do a row of just 6mm. So mine's going to be a very like eclectic, very sampler, just because I want to show you how the different beads work together. You may choose to do it different, and that is awesome. So I hope that if you are making a loom project today or on another day, that you share with us and see with what you made, because it would be great to see it. So far that's what I have. I'm going to do a row of 3mm in this fuchsia, because I think the fuchsia would be really pretty next. So I am going to put 2 of the 3mm into each slot. So I need a total of 6. A total of 6. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You could totally steal this pattern if you are enjoying it. If you love it just as is, that would be exciting to see your version of it in your colors of what you have. I would love to see that. I might have to make a list of the colors that I used, and so that if you're interested in the actual ones, you can do that. But I would love it. I'm glad you're liking this. Sometimes it's fun to play with different size beads and have them like see how they measure up together. I mean, this would be really fun just to kind of keep going up in just this little pattern like that. Maybe change colors or something. But it's really fun mixing these different sizes too, so I'm enjoying that. Oh, you're welcome, Joanne. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad. Yeah, not everybody has tried Loom yet, and it's really fun to do. We did back in June of 2021, we did our Pixie Loom bracelet that you can find, that we're basically using the instructions from. And the design, depending on your color, we just use size 6mm fire polish in 3 different colors, and you either get a very distinct pattern or you get a kind of a more melted in pattern like this one. They kind of vary depending on the colors, but it's a nice way to do loom because if you've never done it, because you're working with the larger bead, that 6mm bead, so it's not as fussy. A lot of beautiful loom work actually has size 11 seed beads and stuff, so I find that's really hard to learn on, so doing these larger beads is easier. And then this mixture of beads can really come up with a really cool design. Okay, so now that I did the 3s, let's do a row of I'm going to do another row of 3s. I'm going to do the turquoise 3s that I have. I may play with mixing some of the other beads again, but right now I think I'm going to just do them in kind of lines. I'm going to do the I'm also going to try to pull in a spot where I go, oops, I don't like that color, just so you can see what, or that combination, just so that you can maybe, so you can see how to pull it out, an easy way to pull it out, because sometimes that's the problem. One nice thing is you can lay this and not go through the beads and go, do I like this or do I not like this? That's kind of why I decided to do 3 rows of these, because I just really liked that. So I think right there, I think I am going to go with that though. Yeah, you know, some of the yes, Sandra, 11s. So many people make them with actual delicas or 11s or delicas and make these really beautiful scenery. So you have to be very tedious with your uh-oh, I see that I missed something, but you know, we're gonna move on. We're not gonna worry about it. You need to make sure that you end underneath and I accidentally didn't, no, over, no, end over. And if you accidentally pull your thread underneath at the very last one, you'll have what happened here where it's not connected. And technically this would be actually a really good spot to show you how to remove things. So maybe I will take that off. Okay. Maybe I will take that off so I could fix that little spot. See how all of these, the threads been going around the warp, the end warp, but this one right here is not attached. There's a loop that goes from one to the other. And so what I'm going to do, so on this side it's just like a straight line. On this side it's actually kind of a slanted line. It's just part of what loom does. But if I take my needle, and I have my needle off, I took my needle off of my thread, and I just poke it into this loop here and pull that out. Just don't drop your needle. Well, that's special. I did drop my needle. I'm going to have to go scour the floor with a magnet. The only time I could use a magnet to pick up my mess is with a needle. Luckily, I have another needle hanging out. By the way, I'm using a size 10 needle. And then I could slide this one off. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Oh yes, you got to finish your projects that that are requested, especially if a daughter asks for something. That's a you know, sometimes it's hard to make something that they like, so it's nice to when they request something. Yes. Try it out, Joanne, with the, yeah, you could try it out with the 4 millimeters too. I mean, those are pretty big, but what was nice, you know, it's the 6 millimeters really give you that, like, it's a lot, you know, a little quicker and easier. Oh, I already took that one out. Okay, there we go. So now let's fix this problem. The problem is I am going under. So I need to make sure I'm going over. So we're going to just pull that up. There we go. Back to normal. Let's get those beads back on. So 6 of these turquoise beads. Back in here. And then I have my big green beads. This one's with the matte emerald with the AB. Woo, moving. thinking about the size 6 seed beads, but that's too much, too much. Do I want the bronze in here after all? Nope. Not in that spot. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is switch over to a 1 row of just size. Ooh, I'm not the day. Sorry, so sorry. Like trying to look at my beads. Okay, so in thinking what I'm gonna do is do a row of size 8 seed beads right here. So it's gonna be 3 in each one. So I'm picking up 9 of them. Definitely could do some color play if you want to mix some colors. Oop, I put the wrong color on that one. Okay, I'm kind of thinking I don't want that color. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go back. Go back, go back, go Joyce. I'm gonna get the 6mm round stones. I'm gonna see what that looks like in there. Next, do 3 of those. What's nice of adding these larger ones, definitely helps move along quicker here. Boom. Okay, now I'm gonna wanna do a patch of the 4s and 8s, I think. Kind of how I started, but I think I'm going to do a different color combination, and I'm going to bring back that color combination later. And so let's see. Needs a what do I need? I think I'm gonna do well, now I can't decide. Not supposed not to be able to decide here. Okay, let's go with this. This is gonna be pretty, and this is gonna be pretty. So those two together, we're gonna just do a row. Oops. Oh, I have 2 different colors on here. It would help if I actually get the same color. This is the only problem with having similar colors on my tray. Okay, I'm not loving that. Let's take those off. Okay, am I not loving it because am I not loving this part? Is that my problem, or is it that, no, I originally thought I was going to be more purple, but I'm looking like I'm going to be more teal and turquoise. Because I think what I want to do is do I want a row, well, maybe I'll just do, I'm going to do a row of seed beads. No, 3 millimeters. We're going back to 3 millimeters. I'm going to do this blue 3 millimeters. That's going to make me happy. Sometimes the designing part is the part that, and then you look at it, I think I have plenty of stuff, and then, so I'm getting 6 because I need 2 for each one. You look at your beads that you have, and you think you have plenty, but then you're like, oh, I wish I had that color in this size. You know? There, that makes me happier. I like this blue up against that fuchsia better. Thanks, Christine. It's kind of fun playing with these different color beads and these different and the different sizes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Careful not to loop your beads. Or your thread. Basically what I did was I forgot that I already went underneath, so I basically went around it one more time. So now I gotta pull this out. But I'm not pulling it out the right way. There we go. Now I got this loop of thread. I went around twice. So I gotta take this one out. Which in the process of making that loop kind of made an almost knot. So luckily I don't have to take the beads off. I just needed to get them out from there. And pull it around because I already had the thread going underneath because I had beads on it, and then I took them off. And then I proceeded to loop it around because my habit is to go from left to right underneath first, but I already did that. Don't need to do it twice. Okay, got my needle back on. Let's get this. It can knot up. It can. Most of the time it's not a real knot. Usually the thread just tangles on itself, and then if you gently pull it apart, it'll just kind of undo. But it can knot. And I either spend the time to try to unknot it if it looks like a fairly easy knot, but sometimes I will just add a new thread, like I'll cut it off and I'll add a new thread because it's just sometimes easier to do that. And it does like to tangle on other objects, so if sometimes I hook my scissors or a tube of beads or the thread that came off of the strand of beads. There we go. Back to business. Yay. That's what we needed. Okay, now I am ready to do a really fun combo of beads. I'm going to do this pink, Nope. Am I going to do the pink? Nope. We're going to do this. We're going to do a row of, I keep looking at these and I keep thinking it's too soon to put this color in, but it's not. I'm going to do a row of size 6 seed beads. And so I need 6 of them, 2 for each. And I'm going to do that. That's going to bring this lovely turquoise back in the mix, because that apparently is my like staple right now. It's like my, what I'm going to call neutral, because sometimes when you are doing multiple colors, there's like one color that is your base color that you use the most of, and it looks like it's turquoise, which is awesome because it's pretty, right? So that looks lovely. I like that. I'm going to do a row of the purple now, I think, so that I can have my purple. So 6 of those, so that I have 2 in each spot. These are my size 6 seed beads. And now yep, that's going to be great. I'm going to do this, and is it these 2? Yep. So I'm going to do another combo of 4mm and size 8 seed beads. And I'm going to do the same little boop boop right there where I do it opposite. And I'm going to do 3 rows. So I'm going to, the one I just did, I started with the 4mm and then did the 8. So this one I'm going to start with the 8. No, need more beads, Joyce. Need more beads. Oh, this is looking so pretty. Sometimes I'll go away from the beadwork and then bring it down because it's easier to see it. And then I'm going to do one more row of this. So I'm going to start with the fire polish, then the 8, fire polish, then the 8, then the fire polish, and then the 8. Let's add six. I'm going to use this turquoise sixes. I'm kind of repeating now. I'm going to just kind of repeat this, but use different colors and just use this as my guide of my spacing. And then I use 3 millimeters, so I'm gonna do, granted I have less 3 colors in the 3 millimeters, but we're still gonna do it anyway. I don't have enough, oh, whoops. Need more beads on. I'm using the blue, which doesn't look like I have enough, so let's find that color over here and bring them over. Those are the bigger ones. Yes, they're just a turquoise with AB, but they are just like perfect. I think it's the Persian turquoise. May have to look that up. And then they have the AB on it. I think it's one of the best ones. One of the best ones. And then I'm going to do another row of 3 millimeters. And I'm going to use this kind of fuchsia color. Then I'm going to grab another 6 millimeter. I'll look it up, Rosalinda, and see if we can get them still. Or if we might even have some more. I don't know. I can't remember if this came out of my personal or if they were leftovers from something. So I'll have to take a look. Oh, they were leftovers from that. Maybe. But I'll take it is a great, but I'll definitely get the color name for you so that we can make sure you can get a hold of them, right? Okay, now do I go Yep. We're going to do this fun pink color. Get 9 of these because I need 3 for each section. And then see. I could do, I'm going to see what this looks like. Got another 6mm to put on. Go with this sea foamy mint greeny turquoise. And this is probably about halfway-ish. So I'm thinking I'm going to just go and take this and repeat this whole thing right here and see how far I get to for my wrist size. And then that is going to be my pattern right there. Well, I need to add these guys still, because after that 6mm, which would be this one here, and I only have 3 colors, and I don't want to put that bronze in after all. I think I'm going to just do these 2 in anyway right there, maybe in reverse. Oh no, I have that blue. Okay, let's put the blue. Might just put 1 row because I feel like this blue is gonna pop. Whoa! I just threw a whole bunch of bees on the floor again. Haha. Yay, Sandra! See, you catching up, and I love it. Yep, that crazy blue is gonna be cool right there. Woo, look at the time. We had so much fun doing this that we are already, it's a little later than I expected. But I'm going to go over how to end it with, and then I'm going to finish this off camera. And I will post it. I promise I will post it. I know I took pictures of all the other stuff and I never posted them. And I don't know what is wrong with me. But I will definitely do a better job with that. You know, life gets in the way and it happens. But there we go. Now we have, it feels a little different. And then I'm going to just go from here. I'm going to repeat this right here and just move on. I could go in the opposite direction if I wanted to, but I think I want to do it in that direction like that. Now, I'm not going to probably get the full repeat just because and that might be more than half. But for the, I mean, if you want to know more about the loom, you could, there, again, Juliana from Jewel Loom has so many wonderful tutorials on it. We also did, back in June, we did the Pixie Loom bracelet, so that video is available to watch. This will be available to watch on the replay. But basically, once I'm all done, getting all of these beads on. And it is the length that I need, you know. And I was like, you want to make sure your clasp, oh, this one doesn't have the other side. Apparently I didn't put both sides on. You just, you know, it's a jump ring to your clasp. These are the sliders like we used. You want to make sure this part takes about, let me double check. I know I put this on here. Yep, nope. Nope. I thought I did, but apparently I thought I put how much that was. Okay, so let's see if I can eyeball that. That is about an inch. So your clasp is gonna take anywhere from an inch, maybe 1.25 inches. So your beadwork, you need to make sure that you only bead, like, see, I am more than oh no, you can't see it because it's so zoomed in. Let's unzoom a little bit. So I'm almost you know, a little more than halfway done. I just got to bead up to there, so that'll make that easy. So you just, like, if you need it to fit about 7.5, then you would probably only put about 6 inches of beads, maybe 6.25 of beads. It depends on if you have a small clasp or a large clasp. The snap clasps that I had on these are smaller, so it's closer to the inch. But if you wanted a toggle, it's going to be closer to an inch, you know, and a quarter, maybe 1.5 inches if you have a large one. But all you do from there is you go to the back and you cut that, right? Now you do want to end these threads, so let's end, I'm not going to end the one that I'm still working with, but I will end my tail here so that you could see that. I apologize because I just noticed that it's not quite on my did not necessarily talk about my warp thread on my instructions. I'm gonna have to add that and revise that, but I'm just gonna take my needle here and add it to my tail. For the most part, most of your wear and tear is going to be on these warps, not on your weft. So a lot of times all I do is kind of weave it in. You can do little half hitch knots if you wanted to. And so if you're familiar with that, you can do that. I will show you what that is here if you're not. Because this started under, then it's over, so this is I'm just going to go through these beads over the top. This is my tail end, and it was knotted, the one knot, so that's good. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go from the top. Sometimes you got to move it around so you can do this easier. And now I'm going to go from the bottom underneath through the beads, but underneath the warp threads. All I'm doing is reinforcing this row. Nope, end outward. Actually, end on the top here, because then you want to be able to and I'm just going back and forth between each one, and I just do 2 or 3 rows personally. So I got 2. I'm on my second row of doing that, and I'm going to go back up, just going back and forth. If I wanted to, I could add a half hitch knot. So I usually do them a little bit into the piece. So between this bead and this bead, but also on this side of the warp, I'm picking up the thread, pulling until there's a small loop, go through the loop, pull, and then when I go into these next beads, it just pops that inside. You can make a couple of these, but just make sure that you're kind of weaving in 2 or 3 rows. And that's usually all I do. I weaved in 2.5 rows because I end up on this end. I typically don't like to cut it right at the edge. Usually I like to cut it a little more in, but I'm not going to re-thread my needle for that. And I would just snip that off, and that one's done. And then when I get done with this other side, I would do the same thing. And then I would go back here and I would cut these cords across here. And I will be left with this. So we're going to put the ends on. Whoops. So a lot of times I could just cut the one side, and then this side ends up just coming off. Or you may have to cut that side. You're going to have to cut this side anyway at some point, but that gets me where I'm ready to put the ends on. And what I'm going to do is treat this like I did with the soft flicks and the sliders last week. I'm going to put a crimp on, loop around it, and crimp it on each one of these. Get some crimps out. That's not a crimp. What that is. And then I want to use my slider. So I'm adding my crimp and taking my loop and my cord and looping back through that crimp. Yes, I do have them. I have both sizes. The small, the 16 that we did on this, and the 20 millimeter that is being used today. And I have all the finishes up right now. Yep, they are on Etsy. So our Etsy, for those that are interested, if you have not shopped with us before, this is our Etsy shop. And you can find these sliders there. Absolutely. I have slid them over the 8s before, and it's a great way of doing it. So with the it depends on how these are ended, because sometimes that's the tricky part. And so when you do the 8s, then the bracelet's held on by the weft, and when you do it this way, the bracelet's held on by the warp, and both are good. You just have to make sure that if you do the size 8s that you and then slide it over the size 8s, you want to make sure that you secure these ends so they don't slip out, but also you're going to want to reinforce these wefts a little bit so it doesn't separate. So one nice thing about doing it with this warp, it kind of helps with that, or for me anyway, makes it a little easier. But yeah, absolutely. I will do that with my when I use my Rix loom, because of the way the Rix loom is set up. That sets up differently than this. I usually do a size 8 or even a size 11. And slide those sliders on. I love the sliders to end my loom work. I think it's so beneficial. And I'm just squeezing that with my crimpers. I do like to squeeze it with the crimpers, secure it with the crimpers instead of just a pair of chain nose pliers, because sometimes the chain nose pliers, if you make them too flat, it gets slide out of that slit, but not often, but it has happened. So I have a tendency to use the crimper for that reason. When we get this one on, we're going to try to make sure okay, so see how that one's a little higher? I want to try to make sure it is at the same level as the first one I did. So I'm going to try to grab hold of this cord and adjust it so that they are at the same level. There we go. Yep. Yeah. You do have to do it that way. You do have to make sure that you glue and you secure those warp threads. So both ways work. They do. Because I do like that, because sometimes it feels a little bit more secure that way. I think it really kind of depends on what I loomed in my mood. But this way is really kind of fun and easy, and if you have your crimpers on, crimps and crimpers, makes it easy. And I do like to do this kind of loop through way. Where I'm looping through the crimp, because it adds that little extra cord going around, so it feels a little more secure. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do the whole, I like to do the weaving back and forth and use leather, you know, especially if I wanted to add a button or something to it. Sometimes I will use a ribbon clamp. There are so many ways. This is just one way, and there is no wrong or right. It just kind of depends on what you're comfortable with, what materials you're using, what the end look you want, all of those things. All right, those are all done. Oop, that's that side, this side. Cut those off. I don't know about you, but I either have lots of glue or no glue, so it's nice when I don't have to use glue, because then I don't have to see if I have glue. But because of the way I looped it around and crimped it, I don't need to add glue to it. All I needed now is slide these into they get a little rolly here. There we go. Into that slide tube. Again, these ones are the 20. There are two sizes or there's 3 sizes of these that are available. I have 2 on our Etsy. This is the 20 millimeter or the medium size. And then they're fold down, press in. There we go. There's one end on this one. So you then repeat the same thing on this other side, making sure that everybody's lined up. And you would do the same thing. Once it's all done, you use a jump ring to attach your clasp, and you are done. It's not that hard, huh? It's not that bad. And then it just lays so cool on your wrist, ready to wear. Now I just have to get finished with this one. I'm loving this. Loving how this is going. I'm gonna move this down a little bit. So that's one way I like to do it. If you want more information about this, you can find our Pixie Loom, the original Pixie Loom from back in June of 2021. That will have a little bit more detail on finishing it, but that gives you an idea. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I might, let's see. I have a feeling I am going to do copper. I think that's what I'm going to do. Copper. I think that will make me happy. Silver would look really good too. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about copper that makes me happy, so that's what's going to be on there. And I hope you enjoyed beading with me. I have some work to do to finish this, so so I could show you how it turned out. It is so relaxing and so therapeutic, and once you get it started, it really is all about getting the loom, getting the cords on the loom, getting started. And once you have, like, you know, a good 3-4 rows, all of a sudden it just becomes this beautiful, like, relaxing zen-like meditation. Oh yes, absolutely. These are, I have so I don't have bright copper, I have antique copper. So they come in antique copper. They come in, they used to come in antique silver. Now they only have the satin rhodium, which is what this one right here is, which is kind of like a brushed silver. Of course, there's the bright silver. There's gold. I'll put that one over there. There's gold. There's gunmetal. There's antique brass. And there's a brushed gold, which I think the brushed gold is very lovely. I like both of the brushed ones. They look really nice. So yeah, these are all the finishes that I have right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 finishes in these. And these are the 20 millimeter. 20 millimeter. Oh, thank you, Gail. I like, thank you, Joyce. It is fun. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I look forward to Saturday, and part of it is it's fun creating with you, and it's just such a happy thing to do. Let's flip this over. I probably look very through. I'm sideways. How did, oh, straighten me out there. I don't know. Whatever. I got my earrings from last week on. I've been wearing them. I love them. They are so nice and light. When my hair is down, they do get a little tangled in there. So it's a little bit better when my hair is up. And then I got my bracelet on, of course. I can't wait to finish this one because this one actually probably matches me a little bit better with my green. It was fun. It was fun playing with all the different sizes with you. I'm so happy that you were able to join me. I know it was kind of a last minute notice, but I am so happy that you were able to do that. I will be on next Saturday. I think there's a couple Saturdays in May that I won't be able to do, so I may do a Sunday instead, or a different day in the week if I can't do the Sunday. But next Saturday I will be back at 2 for something. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. Thank you. I know. I think I like these so much. Have a great week. I can't wait to see what you make. Some of you are looming right now, so I cannot wait to see when yours is finished. If you are looming later on, or that is awesome too, and I hope you share with us in either on the event or through, you know, in the comments here, or on our Just Beat It business page, or tag us on your post, or you know, or join our Happy Beaters and do it there. If you like these beads, almost all of these beads are available on our jbibeads.com, and today is the last day for the $10 off $50 purchase with promo LOVE10, and here's the link in the comments. That's where you're going to find a lot of these Toho seed beads that I use, those size 8s and those size 6s. Also the 4 millimeters and the 6 millimeters. I am going to find out what exact color the one is for you, Rosalinda. And we may actually have that, and we can put that on there for you. Yes, Christine, you're gonna be beading, and maybe at night you can watch a replay with when you're Christine and her sister Sandra are gonna go on a fabulous road trip to go visit their brother. I am super jealous because they're gonna go up the coast of their brother lives in Portland. They're going to go up California up to Portland, and it's going to be really nice. So you're going to be very inspired by all the beautiful scenery, and hopefully you'll get to bead and share with us, because that would be amazing. Awesome, 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 Sandra. That's so great to hear. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It makes my week so much brighter knowing that I get to be with you on Saturdays. Take care. See you next week. Bye.